And good morning, and welcome to this edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard for Monday, January the 24th, 2022. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. I am the host, the master, the guy that runs things around at something called The Conversation Project. Find that at thisistheconversationproject.com. And what we do at The Conversation Project is look for the most conversational news stories out there. These are the things that aren't necessarily the top line news stories, although today we have a lot of those in the things we're talking about. But these are stories that get not a love on the mainstream media or the mainstream media cast, because there's things blowing up and people on fire and coronavirus and stuff. But these are things that are still very, very, very conversational, very worth talking about. And so as you go about your day, you can have some things to talk about with people all around. So check us out at thisistheconversationproject.com, and I'll tell you how you to follow along, and you can be a part of voting up, getting in the stories for these things. Now, this is Monday, so what we do for the things that you might not have heard is we go the swath of Friday through early Monday. So this is a 3.5-ish days worth of time to talk about. So there's a lot more things to talk about, a lot of things to choose from. So hopefully we chose some of the better ones out there. We take the top 15 stories from the entire list. I think there's like 90 something stories for the weekend, basically 30 or so a day. And these are ones that you may not have heard of. Actually, most of these this week you probably have heard of, but they are going to actually hit home on some stories, things going on that need to be talked about, need to be discussed, and some things that just are so in the ether that we had to pick it out. So let's go ahead to start. It's words. Blah, 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 words, blah, 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 words, blah, blah, blah. I also remind you that if you want to help support what's going on here at the headquarters, go to buymeacoffee.com/Jay Cleveland Payne. Advertising is always good for getting yourself back into being fluttered. Coffee this morning. And this will help keep me caffeinated, and actually, its donations help pay the bills. So that's the source that we use for this. You can also go to our website and see various different advertisers. We'll talk about those because since we do less stories now, that's a long story in that one, we have more time for ads, oddly enough. Let's go on now to story number one. Now the words are coming out of my mouth. This is a very, very sad story. Regina King's son, Ian Alexander Jr., dies in suicide this week, or late in last week, early into the weekend. People have been dealing with this news going on. This is a story we posted early Friday-ish, and it is been the biggest story. This was the top story all weekend. This story took off immediately and then did not come down. Many responses over the weekend from various people, friends, family, and just admirers of Miss King on the loss of her son and what's going on in that one. We seem to have a few of these stories popping up lately. We had a story a few weeks ago where where other people had dealt with suicides in their families, other famous people are having to deal with these things, and it just becomes Sinead O'Connor. Brain's not working early this morning. I apologize for that. Sinead O'Connor's son died after being in medical care and escaping care and then committing suicide. This is one that we'll have to take more time to get into. Yahoo.com is people.com, our source for the story. Whenever we do these stories that you may be new to, the things you might not have heard, but for as long as I've been doing this sort of thing in podcasts and newsletters and videos for 4 or 5 years, every time we have a story that pops up in suicide, we always remind folks there are better ways to deal with your issues. And we also bring up the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is available 24 hours a day. There are also local options wherever you are, so look out for local options as well. But the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline has people available to talk to you in Spanish and English and whatever language that you probably need. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-TALK, or go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org for resources there. Like I said, you finally have local resources. You might have some friends going on, and if ever you feel so down that life seems to be so hard to handle at the moment, you need to check out one of these resources, because life is not too hard to handle. Trust me on that. Let's move on to second story of 5 we're going to talk about today. 90 tons of U.S. military aid arrives in Ukraine as border tensions with Russia rise. This one from NPR.org is a particular one, and this is one that is escalating well beyond what anyone wants right now. This is one that's a major story. This is something that's taken over a lot of time on the national airways because this is a big deal. A Ukraine event could be a World War III triggering thing If, and this is a big if, the U.S. really wants to get in and trigger World War III. Now, as everyone pretty much sees, Russia is going to do something in Ukraine, and there was, of course, the minor gaffe, major gaffe, whatever kind of gaffe you want to call it, that President Biden gave in his press conference last week, saying, "Well, maybe they'll do something kind of low level, and then we just kind of back off of it," which freaked the hell out of everybody. But what we're seeing in Ukraine is a lot of different scenarios that Russia's putting together. One scenario being they're going to install some people in the government that'll be pro Russia, so that when they take over, they're like, cool, we'll do good with that. They have forces on the border ready to basically take over. The U.S. is now offering lethal aid and now thinking about actual military personnel in the area to keep things going. This is not so much breaking news. This is definitely developing. It's ongoing. You'll hear more about this with your first news source. Us as your side piece of news, well, we'll do what we can to be a part of it. Also being a part of what's going on is stopping by our website. This is theconversationproject.com/Zenni. That's a link to our affiliate link for Zenni Optical. Zenni Optical is one of the greatest sources of stuff in the world. And the stuff they offer is glasses and sunglasses and sports glasses and accessories for your glasses, sunglasses, and sports glasses. And they offer to you at a great price. They offer to you with great service. And they offer to you with actually very, very good quality. Not good quality, great quality. It's all great at Zenni. And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's not going to cost you your whole HSA. You'll be able to get great pairs of glasses for much, much less. And they take care of you at Zenni. And they take care of us with a quick link to them from the affiliate link. We get a bit of a commission. So stop by. This is theconversationproject.com/Zenni and get your new pair of glasses. Well, not right now, but when you're done with the story. Yeah, that would be nice. Let's move on to our third story in the 5 today. This one, Kyrsten Sinema, the senator, has been formally censured by the Arizona Democratic Party. ABCnews.go.com, our source of this, Kyrsten Sinema, one of the two Democrats who is basically blocking all things happening on the in Senate right now, is censure. I don't have the full definition, but censure, being censured by your party, being censured by anyone, is essentially a big statement saying, we don't like what you're doing. We don't trust you. We're not ready to quite fire you yet, or maybe we can't fire you right now. But what you did in that thing, it wasn't cool, and we're going to put it on notice in the books and the records. She was censured for essentially blocking the filibuster. Now, herself and another senator, that being Joe Manchin, not Manchin of West Virginia, are the people or the holdouts on changing filibuster rules for the Democrats, or for the Senate, should say, so the Democrats can pass anything. Right now, 50-50 Senate means all 50 of the Democrats, because they're more or less in power, have to vote on something, and then Kamala Harris has to show up that day and throw in her extra vote to make the tiebreaker work. They're trying to change it to simple majorities and open line votes. This is something that, while seemingly cool, if you watch something like Mr. Smith Go to Washington, apparently that is really actual fiction. So the fact that people bleed, people walk up and stand up all day and talk forever filibusters hadn't happened in like 30, 40 years. Filibuster is an issue. It should be, I'm not so, it's not just should be changed. It should be adjusted, because what it's supposed to do and what it actually does don't seem to make very much sense. Let's move on to the fourth story we have for this morning. And this is Adele tearfully apologizes as she postpones her Las Vegas residency one day before kickoff due to COVID-related issues. Yahoo.com is our source for this one. Yeah, you heard this all over the place. Adele canceled her concert. Yes, it happened. She also had a thing where she had she reached out to people on Instagram who were in town in Vegas to shut up at a shop and watch a Instagram video on a phone, which I guess is cool. But here's the real deal about what's going on. COVID delays have been an issue for everything and everyone, especially in entertainment issues, where it takes a lot of people to do a lot of things, moving lots of mountains, just to make people look good and perform. Adele's residency has had delays in shipping of things because of COVID. Crew members in the last week got ill, so they're not been able to prepare. So while the thing should have kicked off on Friday and last through March, I believe, it is delayed. Now, we're also hearing that because of delays, or maybe, because of trying to fix the delays, Adele is going nuts and trying to change as many things as possible, and now making her residency pretty much unavoidably bad, and it's like it can't work now because they're fixing so many things. By fixing, I mean screwing things up. We will see if this residency will go on. Residencies are essentially the thing of the future for all performers, as they get a pretty good catalog and they can just play in Vegas, or they can play in Atlantic City, or they can play the casino circuit for a while and just make money just showing up, making, being a performer. The problem is, if everybody's sick and can't run the buttons to keep make Adele look pretty and sound pretty, it doesn't work out. Another quick look into a movie called Yesterday, as fans sue the people who made the movie, over missing Ana de Armas. Yahoo.com, the source of this story. And this is an interesting one because this movie was out maybe 2 years ago. Yesterday, the story of the world where the Beatles didn't quite exist except in the minds of three people, and one guy exploited that by becoming a rock star singing Beatles songs. The fans are now seeing it, on streaming, I guess on DVD, are a bit upset because they watch it because they saw a trailer that offered up images of Ana de Armas in the picture in the screen, and she's not actually in the movie. We're going to see how long this goes. This is one of those things that was kind of like, interesting. Can you actually sue a movie company, a movie theater, a movie, or the people making a movie because the trailer had stuff into it that wasn't in the movie and made it look better? I don't know if they thought the movie sucked because they didn't have this person in there, but they were expecting this actress who wasn't there. It went that way. You can also keep things going along here at the Conversation Project and all of the More Better Media projects by going, by stopping by. This is theconversationproject.com/Bear Mattress. Get a good night's sleep, and you can probably talk much, much better than me throughout the days. Bear Mattress offers a great mattress for a great price, and you get 365 days to try it out. They also have sheets and pillows and all the other accoutrements, the things to help you sleep better. If you're worried about your sleep, don't worry about it, because you can get a great deal at Bear Mattress, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. It's that simple. Check them out. This is theconversationproject.com/Bear Mattress. We get a slight kickback from this commission because it is affiliate link. So check them out. See what they do for you. Quick shout out to my man Big O, who is in on the live feed this morning. Thank you so much for supporting what's going on and checking us out. All your feedback and all your responses to what we're doing has been great. And of course, if you're watching this live, just do a quick shout out, do a quick post, say who you are, and we'll shout you out as well. Otherwise, if you're watching this in the replay, do it as well. Let us know how long it takes you to get this. We are seeing some delays in getting the replay back out into the world. So us being a breaking news source, not so breaking. It is what it is, I guess. Final story. This is going to wrap up to a bunch of things, but the headline we posted early on Saturday, or late on Saturday, was Aaron Rodgers numb after divisional round loss to 49ers. QB says he'll take time to decide on Packers' future. From sportingnews.com is our source for this one. The direct story on this one is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, of course, had a big hissy fit at the beginning of this year and then decided to go ahead and play. Had a record-setting year, essentially. Had some issues with coronavirus and Joe Rogan and horse tranquilizer and whatever going on, and almost made it to another Super Bowl, but got blasted, you would say, by the 49ers, who are going to do the divisional round here this year. So once again, no chance to get to another State Farm Bowl, or a State Farm Bowl, if you will. What we're seeing overall in the actuality of football, first, Aaron Rodgers is going to see whether he's coming back to the Packers again and probably cause another hissy fit for another offseason going forward. What we saw this week was a great week of football after last week's not so great week of football, with this super duper extended wild card where a lot of bad teams that shouldn't have got there and made the games really bad. This one, all fairly good games. This is one where essentially all the home teams lost except for one, and the one that did win was because of a coin toss. That was last night's game with the Kansas City Chiefs, where they got the win over the Buffalo Bills because they won the overtime coin toss, scored first, all done. Of course, Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a comeback for the ages to come back to try to take out the Rams, and the Rams were able to get a kick in literally with 40 seconds left in the game in regulation. That a great game as well. All great games this weekend. We'll see what happens for the divisional champions, and preparing for a Super Bowl coming up very, very soon. This has been things you might not have heard of. You things you might have heard. You can find us on the internets at thisistheconversationproject.com. Also, if you want to help things out, it's on the scroll, it's on this slide, buymeacoffee.com/Pain. Follow along on Twitter and Facebook, and you can actually vote in these stories. We've posted a new story every 50 minutes or so on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/thisistheconversation and Twitter, th_conversation. And as they come in, you just engage with the stories, like them, love them, hate them, share them, be a part of the family, be a part of the work. At the end of the day, or actually really beginning of the day, we go through and we pull out the data, put into a spreadsheet, and give it a weighted average to give us what are the top stories, the bottom stories. And then we choose from the top 15 stories to present to you in this video every morning. Buy me a coffee would be great, because right now apparently hiccups is coming up, breathing issues, in through nose, out through mouth. Thank you so much for joining us for this. Oh, by the way, if you're looking to see something what examples of what we're going to present coming up in about an hour or so, this story is slated to go ahead and post, and this is one that may fall in line with how you feel these days. A Texas teacher was placed on administrative leave after ranting to junior high school students and calling them incomplete and utter morons. This actually happened. You can read about it fairly soon. You can look for it right now on insider.com, but you'll see it coming up in the feed. So that's something to look out for as your day goes through. So we have that to look forward to. If that is something that you are meaning to, you can vote it up, you can vote it down, you can do whatever you want to do to make that one happen. So with that, we're going to bid you adieu. This has been, there you go, things you might not have heard, Monday, January the 24th, 2022. Doing our best to work the technology. Is simple to make it work and sometimes simple not to. Thank you so much to the folks at StreamYard for all the great additions you've done to your platform to make these things work. Unfortunately, I only have two hands, and that's the issue with making all the buttons go where they should go. So with that, I'm going to say thank you one more time. I'm sure I said it like 12 times so far. Remember, you can stop by buymeacoffee.com and buy me a coffee. That's a good way to help us keep things going, and maybe I can buy another hand or something. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully something in these storylines was something that you did not know, and you can share with other folks around the way. Let's do this again tomorrow, shall we?